You know, we talk about the deep state, we talk about the globalists.
Inflation versus deflation. Well, I mean,
You're at Mar-a-Lago.
I'm baffled that this isn't front page news.
Do you guys support a specific political party, or do you dislike both of them?
Oh, it worked like a charm on you guys.
Let's go, Brandon.
What's up, everybody? Whew. It's been a little while since I did a live stream, and it's because I've been kind of focusing on more unique deep dive content, but I've been missing this a lot, and figured what better time to do this than when Israel's just going off the rails and lighting up around. Like, I mean, they're calling this a strike in the media, but it's like a full on, like, I mean, I take this as a declaration of war. And they're reporting that Iran media, I believe justnews.com is confirming that Iran officials have declared that they are now in war with Israel. So get this, Israel does these airstrikes. They take out like 3 major nuclear reactor sites and a bunch of nuclear scientists, like all the top nuclear scientists in Iran, and they took out top leadership that is the equivalent of what J.D. Vance and Susie Wiles of Iran would be. So like basically their VP and Secretary of or Chief of Staff, they have taken out and are confirmed to be killed by multiple news outlets. So Marco Rubio comes out and gives this statement saying, tonight, quote, tonight Israel took unilateral action against Iran. We are not involved in strikes against Iran, and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. And Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for its defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary action. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Let me be clear, Iran should not target U.S. interests or personnel. But that's not how this is going to play out, because my boy Andrew sent me this. Thank you, Andrew. Let me see. So Iranian forces, this from a couple of weeks ago, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said in a letter to the UN that Tehran would hold the U.S. responsible for any Israeli attacks on its nuclear facilities. The letter was a response to recent media reports that said Israel was preparing for a strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, which is a reality now. Sources told CNN that the attacks could come from Israel that the attack could come if Israel isn't happy with the negotiated deal between the U.S. and Iran. If Israel wants to sabotage an agreement from ever being reached, Iran strongly warns against any aventurism by the Zionist regime, blah, blah, blah. So you got it. So they said several weeks ago that they would hold the U.S. accountable for anything that Israel does. And, you know, this is really shitty, because this is like the equivalent of if you have a little brother or a kid or something that starts a fight that they know is going to rope you into it when you want nothing to do with the fight. So, you know, everybody's saying, oh, yeah, this is not our problem. Go ahead, do your thing. And that's what reports are saying, is that Trump said, do your thing, Netanyahu. If you got to go ahead and do it, go ahead and do it. But we are not involved. Like, I say bull freaking shit. You think that we're not going to get roped into this somehow? And like all it freaking takes is for, Iran to hit a U.S. military base, or for something to happen to piss off the public sentiment of the U.S. and get us all riled up and wanting to, seek revenge in Iran. Like, talk about like a shit show of all shit shows if we actually do get roped into this. I mean, like, think about how difficult Iraq was. Like, that's flat ground, flat terrain, a third of the population, a third of the military resources, and it took us a decade to get out of there. And, Iran, look at this, how they stack up from a military standpoint. So I don't know how well you could see that, but manpower, Iran, better than Israel. Air power, Israel better because they get all our shit. Land power, Iran better. Navy power, Iran beats Israel. Natural resources, Iran beats Israel. Financials, Iran beats Israel. Logistics, Iran beats Israel. And then geography, I guess they give the nod to Israel. So, like, Trump's saying that we're not going to be involved or roped into this. Does that mean that we're going to stop giving them weapons and money and everything? Or are we going to keep giving them weapons and money? Because, I mean, think about just the amount of sleeper cells that came in under Biden. You know, top intelligence officials are saying, like, that's an immense number that we have no comprehension of right now. So, you know, for all we know, they could be doing a dog whistle here saying, like, all right, boys, it's time to start doing I guess what you call domestic terrorist attacks within the U.S. Like, who the hell knows how many Iranian terrorists came across our border in the last 4 years? Like, so that's one thing to be considering. And another thing to be considering is that, I mean, it's crazy that we're putting up with this shit from Netanyahu and Zelensky. Like, I know a lot of this is from the rogue intelligence agency side of things, but like, we tell Zelensky, like, hey, simmer down. We're trying to get a peace deal here. We tell Netanyahu, hey, simmer down. We're trying to get a peace deal here. And I guess the peace deal expired a couple of days ago or a couple of weeks ago. And like, but I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm like overly suspicious of this, but I think Netanyahu's like very skittish and paranoid about his position or his, I guess, the public sentiment against him. Because I mean, even before October 7th, like, there were protests outside of the whatever the equivalent of the White House would be in Israel, like wanting to get Netanyahu out of government. So October 7th happens, big old distraction, and right as like the entire world wants peace talks between Israel and Gaza, like, they pull this shit and they say it's over nuclear enrichment. They say so according to the International Atomic Energy Agency, the UN's nuclear watchdog, they ruled that Iran had violated its non-proliferated obligations for the first time in 20 years, citing undeclared nuclear material and increased uranium stockpiles. So, okay, let's play both sides of this. Like, let's play devil's advocate here, because I'm not trying to just pound Israel. Like, I get it. Like, I hate the Iranian regime. I want the Iranian regime gone. I mean, like, even though it's probably some intelligence agency somewhere's fault that Iran got overthrown in the first place, because it was a great place when the Shah was there. But, you know, yeah, the world would be a better place with a new regime in place. And I think over 50% of the Iranian population wants a new regime. They want to be a democracy. They don't want this like weird kleptocracy or clergy, whatever you call it, religious dictatorship with the supreme leader and everything. So we get it. All right. We get that. And they have taken they took Assad out of power. A lot of that's CIA, Israel. They took bin Laden out of power. They took Gaddafi out of power. So, I mean, what's the plan for this? Like, how much time, money, resources are they trying to put into this thing? Because, like, I mean, with the way that things are right now, this should just be straight up drone warfare. Like, neither Israel nor America should have a single boot on the ground anywhere near Iran, because that would be that'd be like an Afghanistan level disaster in terms of logistics of that. Like, we cannot handle this like invasion type of ground warfare shit. All right, like, that's not even in the question. And like, I'm starting to get paranoid about a like USS Liberty type of situation again, because, you know, they go against us when we say don't do it. They go ahead and do it, and I'm sure they're not happy that we're saying we're not going to be involved in it, because I don't think they can handle this thing by themselves. Like, do you think they can handle this thing by themselves? And by the way, guys, I dropped a link in the chat, so I have a whole VT research community, because I'm the head of research here, and you know, I put together a lot of our content and do the research for it and write all that out and everything. So we have this dope community right now, and people who want to play a part in like getting the word out there, like putting the proper information out there. So if you want to play a role in like getting the right information out there in the world, like through valuetainment, join VT research. The link is in the chat if you want to check that out. But let's see what you guys are saying, because I am freaking pissed about this. I don't know about you. I mean, any solid commentary in here? Out of curiosity, how many people on this channel actually think that open borders is a good idea? I doubt Not that many. I don't think that many. Yep, yeah, Netanyahu, one of the most corrupt. Oh man, I guess that documentary came out this week about Netanyahu too. I got to watch that this weekend. Does anybody watch that documentary yet? All right, let's keep this thing moving. So let's go ahead and show this clip from Netanyahu. This is what he said when he came out and gave his whole spiel. Tell me if this audio is working for you.
Months ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000 of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be stopped. Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire and to attack us with the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers of Israel, rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas, we devastated Hezbollah, we hit Iranian proxies in Syria and Yemen. And when Iran directly attacked us twice last year, we struck back inside Iran itself. Yet in defending ourselves, we also defend others. We defend our Arab neighbors. They too have suffered from Iran's campaign of chaos and carnage. Our actions against Iran's proxy Hezbollah led to the establishment of a new government in Lebanon and the collapse of Assad's murderous regime in Syria. The peoples of those two countries now have a chance for a different future, a better future. So too do the brave people of Iran, and I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you. Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship that has oppressed you for 46 years. I believe that the day of your liberation is near. And when that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient peoples will flourish once again. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America. Remember, Iran calls Israel the small Satan. It calls America the great Satan. And this is why for decades, it's led millions in the chants of death to Israel and death to America. Today, Israel is responding to those genocidal calls with action and with a call of our own. Long live Israel and long live America. Our action will help make the world a much safer place. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in confronting Iran's nuclear weapons program. He has made clear time and again that Iran cannot have a nuclear enrichment program. Today, it is clear that Iran is just buying for time. It refuses to agree to this basic requirement of peaceful nations. That is why we have no choice but to act, and act now. The hardest decision any leader has to make is to thwart a danger before it is fully materialized. Nearly a century ago, facing the Nazis, a generation of leaders failed to act in time. They were paralyzed by the horrors of World War I. They were determined to avoid war at all costs, and they got the worst war ever. They adopted a policy of appeasement. They closed their eyes and ears to all the warning signs. That failure to act resulted in World War II, the deadliest war in history. It claimed the lives of 60 million, including 6 million Jews, a third of my people. After that war, the Jewish people and the Jewish state vowed, never again. Well, never again is now. Today, Israel has shown that we have learned the lessons of history. When enemies vow to destroy you, believe them. When enemies build weapons of mass death, stop them. As the Bible teaches us, when someone comes to kill you, rise and act first. This is exactly what Israel has done today. We have risen like lions to defend ourselves. Over 3,000 years ago, Moses gave the people of Israel a message that has steeled their resolve ever.
All right, so you get the point. I mean, yeah, there's a few different ways to look at this. Like if you're somebody from Israel, you're looking at this from the standpoint of it's like imminent doom for you. Like these people in Iran literally will not rest until Israel's gone. That's the point of view of people from Israel. But then you have this other school of thought, like Jeffrey Sachs was on Tucker Carlson last night saying that we're kind of blowing this out of proportion. Like it's almost like a Russia situation, according to him. Like we're kind of the ones going after them, antagonizing the hell out of them. I mean, I get it. I get not wanting this regime in place, but like, what's going to be the fallout of this? I mean, so here's how, first of all, I just want to show you like on a map for perspective, what is it? What Iran looks like compared to freaking Gaza. So, I mean, first of all, crazy fact that, so this little strip right here, Gaza, apparently more bombs have been dropped in this little strip right here than during the entirety of World War II. So like, I don't even know how that's possible and that there's still people there. But then this is freaking Iran. Where's Iran? So you couldn't even take this out, and then you want to go after this. And then, you know, we still have adversaries in Iraq and Syria. So what exactly is the plan here, guys? Like, yeah, you took out the leadership. I mean, hey, maybe a revolution can happen because look at these numbers quick. So what percent of Iran wants new regime? So I always reference back to this. Apparently over 60% of Iranians want transition from Islamic Republic. So I've always been part of the camp of saying like, all right, so you got that. Help these people, give them the means to overthrow the government. Because I despise what's going on in Iran. It's a terrible place. Like, could be a great place. Great place. You know, Patrick talks about all and how awesome of a place it was before the revolution. And then it became like a prison state. So help these freaking people overthrow the government, and then install a democratic leader. Because I mean, yeah, we tried to do that in the other countries like Iraq and Afghanistan to a degree, and it didn't necessarily work. But I don't know if the people despised the government at the same level that they do in Iran. Like, I don't think that was the case in Iraq. And so here's what people are saying around the world about this thing. So I like these articles, kind of have a timeline of what's going on. Ignore the fact that it's CNN. So what's happening now? Israel strikes Iran. Israel's launched unprecedented strikes in Iran, targeting its nuclear program and senior military leaders in an attack that Benjamin Netanyahu said will last many days. The attack plunges the Middle East into fresh uncertainty, increasing the risk of a regional war as Israel braces for retaliation. Top commander killed, General Hussein Salami. So it sounds a lot like the last guy that was killed when Trump was president. The commander-in-chief of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard was among those killed in the attacks. He was among the country's most powerful and influential figures. The IRGC oversees its ballistic missile development and crushes dissent in the country. And the nuclear targets, Netanyahu said, Operation Rising Lion struck Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. Nuclear scientists, which in what he called the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Okay, it's a positive. Then the U.S. position, there was no U.S. involvement or assistance in the strike. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, tonight Israel took, yep, so we got that. And let's see, are they giving us a map of where the strikes were? Not quite. So you got all this in between. So I really hope that they aren't stupid enough to try to make this a land battle. Like, we should have enough drones in existence to do anything that we need to do, whether it's Israel or if America gets involved, but hopefully America doesn't freaking get involved. So we got all that. Here's the watchdog group that is closely monitoring the situation. So the International Atomic Agency, closely monitoring the deeply concerning situation, Iran said Friday, confirmed the agency is in contact with Iranian authorities regarding the radiation levels. We are also in contact with our inspectors in the country, Director General Rafael Grossi said. But I mean, one thing that I keep thinking is this whole weapons of mass destruction thing. Like, when's the last time we heard that? We have to go there because there's weapons of mass destruction. Like, freaking Iraq. That was the excuse to get into Iraq, weapons of mass destruction. So are we kind of repeating the same bullshit here? Because, like, this is what put us at least 1/3 of what the country is in debt right now. Like, it costs $12 trillion, the war on terror. All right. So, maybe they're trying to juice the economy, but like, if you want the cost of living to come down, if you want things to simmer down, I don't know. Like, I'm all for the precision stuff. I'm all for these badass strikes that do mass damage with a small amount of deaths. And I guess it's not quite as scary as the Russia thing because Russia has nuclear weapons. But I mean, this is a funny one. I was almost pondering the idea the other day of, would it be worth it to give Russia half of Ukraine, overthrow Zelensky, put in a friendly to the U.S. in the Western bloc of Ukraine, and in return for Russia helping America squeeze Iran? Because it's probably China that props Iran up the most when we put sanctions on them, because they do a lot of the oil buying and a lot of economic import-export stuff with Iran to kind of help them get around our sanctions. But if we kind of workshop that out and said, okay, if Russia was on board with squeezing Iran, getting a new regime in there, would it be worth it to give up half of Ukraine for that? And I mean, it's unfortunate that we're even in that position where we have to think like that, but I don't think it's just Trump's fault that these negotiations aren't going through. I put a lot of it on the intelligence agency, and that's kind of one of the rabbit holes I've been diving down in this research group that we have here, because we split it up into different folders. Like, every folder is dedicated to a different topic. We have a CIA folder, and what I'm on a mission to find out is who are the most powerful forces within the CIA? Because we know the president has no oversight or no control over the CIA. They act like they just don't even have to have regard for what the president says. And then the director at this point is pretty much a what do you call it? the director is pretty much there just for show, just like for the sake of tradition and everything. But like, how much stuff do you think the director of the CIA is actually looped in on? Haven't seen any evidence personally to indicate that the director has any degree of control over the CIA since like George H.W. Bush was the director of the CIA. So that's a big part of it. I mean, like, why do you have Mike Pompeo, former director of the CIA, hanging around in Ukraine, right? So that's one thing. And yeah, I said it weeks ago. I said most of the Ukrainian population wants the war to end. Most of Israel's population wants their war to end. But the two leaders of those countries are being disobedient to what Trump is trying to get them to do. Like, they're not even trying to settle a peace deal or to get a peace deal going or anything. So, like, I genuinely wonder, like, do you guys agree with me? Am I going out on a limb here that there would be a lot of public support in both Ukraine and both in Israel for new leadership, like, no matter how, like, what has to happen for that to happen? And I mean, we've done this in so many countries. We've done a regime change when the regime was creating an unfavorable situation for us. So, I mean, shit, it's probably too late for that now in both these countries because we had these crazy attacks. Like, think about that. And within 2 weeks, Ukraine drone strikes Russia's like primary nuclear weapons in terms of like the delivery of vehicles. And I don't know if you guys heard this, but the way that they got those ballistic missile systems from Russia to be out in the open like that is because it was part of a deal that they had with America, like working towards peace. So instead of having them stored away, they had them out on the tarmac, like super vulnerable. And it was part of like an agreement to like work our way back from escalation. And then instead of trying to get a peace deal going, we bombed their shit. All right. And then Netanyahu not only refuses to try to make peace with Gaza, but he starts lighting up the most hostile terrorist hub in the entire Middle East. So, I mean, hey, if this results in a situation where a year from now, Iran has a new regime, U.S. doesn't have boots on the ground ever at any point, we don't lose U.S. lives because of this, then great, that's awesome. I'm so in favor of regime change in Iran, but I'm so not in favor of the U.S. being involved in any way. And I don't even want Israel to be like involved in it from a boots on the ground standpoint. I don't think the citizens of Israel want that. Like, I know they're hardcore about wanting regime change in Iran, but like, at what cost? Like, you want your country to be in a 5, 10, 15-year war that costs trillions of dollars, and then what? You have a destabilized economy for the next 50 years. Like, I think we could be, and I'm not saying like we haven't been tactful so far, but like I think we could like have a degree of tactfulness. Like, if we learn anything from Vietnam or the war in Afghanistan or the war in Iraq, it's that like boots on the ground brute force is like so freaking inefficient. The only institution in the world that benefits from that is the military-industrial complex. Nobody else in the world benefits from that. It's bad for the country that's happening in. It's bad for the country that's sending people to that country. It's bad for the whole region. It's bad for the economy. But the freaking defense contractors go from being super rich to mega rich. All right. So I think that's something we could all collectively agree on. Now, tricky situation. Like, we're still giving money to Ukraine. We're still giving money to Israel. So are we really trying our hardest to get them to de-escalate if we're still just pumping money and pumping weapons into those countries? Like, at what point do we stop doing that? Because I think that would go a lot farther than just threats by Trump. Because, you know, I hate to say it, but at this point, his threats are a little bit empty. You know, that's what happens when you make several threats in a row and nothing happens as a result of it. And I've been hard on Trump lately. Like, you believe this? Get this. I've been challenging things here and there that Trump is doing, like the military budget. He comes in saying, oh yeah, we're going to cut defense spending by 8% every year for the next 5 years. And then, like, that's in February. Then in May, he says, yeah, we're going to have $1 trillion defense budget. What? Okay, so what the hell happened in between that time? in between February and May for you to go from wanting to cut it by 8% every year to increasing it from 870 to $1 trillion. That's weird. So stuff like that, I hate it because that affects all of us. Like, why do you think the cost of living is so high? Why do you think it takes 8 years of an average salary to buy an average priced house now instead of 2 years like it did in the 70s? It's because of shit like that. It's because of deficit spending. Deficit spending is like the biggest inflationary pressure in our existence. All right. And when it comes to the bill, the big BS bill they call is beautiful. If you want the tax credits or tax cuts passed so badly, make it a single issue bill. Like, yeah, I know. Oh my God, it's unheard of in freaking DC. Before the 80s, that was the norm to have single issue bills. All right. Make Congress work. Make them sign 500 bills a day. All right. I don't want any of this crap with 7,000 pages and like all types of shit that I don't even know what the hell's in there. It's written by lobbyists. The politicians don't even know what's in there. So, and people are going to say like, oh, but like, that's just the way things are. We got to pass this thing. We got to pass it. Like, no. The whole exciting factor about Trump being president for this stretch of time was that he was going to fundamentally change the way that things worked. Like, how often do you get the chance where there's a guy that's from outside enough of the establishment to where he could fundamentally change the way things work? Like, I want a freaking law in Congress that bills can only be one issue unless it's an emergency situation, like the utmost emergency, which, and I don't even like that because they abuse that. But it's one of the worst things in our like existence as Americans that we allow this crap where there's like a 7,000 page bill with God knows what's in it. And they have this one thing that they're kind of dangling over you, like, oh, you want your tax cuts? You want the, like, oh, businesses are going to have a 68% tax increase if we don't pass this bill. But like, yeah, what else is in the bill though? What other horrifying things are in the bill? Like, the states can't regulate AI for the next 10 years. What happened to the committee of people, like super legit, successful people who were advocating for that, who were advocating for for AI regulation, right? Like Musk was saying that. I believe the, what do they call him? The godfather of AI was saying that. Like you want to talk about the fear of nuclear weapons. How about the fear of freaking AI, right? So, and that gets into the Palantir thing. I've been wanting to rant about Palantir for a bit. So, I mean, that's the deal. It's the rundown with the Israel stuff. But this is relevant to it too. Like, they've been testing the shit out of Palantir warfare technology and Starlink's warfare applications, like since the thing in Ukraine began, like Operation Maven. They're using Palantir and Starlink to like develop these AI drones that could like track people's faces and everything and do precision strikes. Like craziness. But the the whole thing with Palantir is super creepy. It came out right after 9/11. Like after 9/11, this thing called the Total Information Awareness Act comes out from DARPA. It's so crazy that Congress says, hell no, we're not doing that. It was like basically they proposed a database where they stored every bit of information about everybody in America. Congress is like, no, that's insane. Get out of here. 1 month later, Palantir had started, funded by InQtel, CIA's venture capitalist firm. Then the first like 10 years of Palantir's existence, they only get money from the CIA. And they got these two psychos from like both ends of the political spectrum running the thing as the two founders, Karp, this liberal socialist guy, and then Peter Thiel, who's like, you could probably say he's a little bit fascist because he doesn't like democracy, openly said that he's given up on democracy. And what else? Then like Trump's just blindly like herding us into the slaughterhouse. And I don't think it's from any bit of malice or like ill intentions or anything. I just think when it comes to technology, he's a boomer. Like, you guys remember that clip where he's talking to Laura Ingraham, I believe, and she says, oh, what do you think Barron's going to do when he grows up? He's like, oh, I'll tell you what, the kid, he's amazing when it comes to technology. I mean, I tried to turn off his computer the other day because he was on his computer too much, and like the kid, within 2 minutes, he turns the computer back on. It was unbelievable, the way this kid is with technology. So like okay, so Trump's blown away, thinks it's amazing that his son can turn a computer that's off, turn it back on. And we expect him to understand the ramifications of asking Palantir to create like a national database of everybody in America where it tells you everything we've ever done, all of our health records, all of our tax records, all of our financial records, all of our movement records. Like, what do you think Gavin Newsom's going to do with that if he becomes president? Like, imagine if they had that shit during COVID. It's over. It's freaking over. And this, like, if you go to this company's website, like, there's literally videos of drones attacking people and like, oh yeah, we use the best AI and data and this and that to track these things down. And I think they might have used it to track down bin Laden or something like that. So like, I get it. And yeah, you can make arguments that would be helpful for like tracking down these Iranian sleeper cells that are in America now. But guys, I mean, at what cost? At what freaking cost? Let's take a look at Palantir's website. I want to show that quick. It's funny. Palantir. And then we'll go back to the Israel Gaza stuff, or not Israel Gaza, the Israel Iran stuff. Palantir. I just want to show you this website quick. It's funny. Wish I bought some of the stock. And the fact that XAI has a partnership with them now after Musk got a shit ton of our data. Don't love that. Don't love it. Here, look at this. This might be the coolest website I've ever seen. I'll give it to him on that. I'm not going to lie about that. So let's see. Share screen. Here we go. Boom. Pretty sick website. Look at this. Gotham's the military one. Yep. Your software is the weapon system. How funny it would be if it just zooms right in on Iran. Where's it scrolling to? Decision dominance from space to mud. Orchestrate combat power. AI-driven combat superiority. Yeah, so I've been saying a lot, the people who play video games a lot and are great at video games, like they might be some of the most important people on the battlefield going forward with the way things are playing out. Like a lot of this shit is going to be like really similar to video games with how they do things in the battlefield. Powering the kill chain. Collaborate across the target lifecycle. Palantir Gotham is a modern solution for efficient and responsible target management. Users can centrally manage intelligence gathering and target identification, leveraging a shared and access-controlled common intelligence, operating and targeting picture to visualize over the battle. Data-centric, integrates and visualizes models and data regardless of type or volume. Secure, drives organization-wide collaboration with stringent platform-wide security, interoperable, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, look at this. Oh, and there we go. We got the goggles. Yeah, this reminds me of the Black Mirror episode. Wow, it's pretty sick, though. So that's what warfare looks like now. So let's ask Grok now. Let's go to Grok and ask Grok, is Israel using Palantir right now? Does Israel use Palantir for warfare right now? Let's see. I'm going to guess, oh, yep, there we go. Yes, Israel's currently using Palantir technology for warfare purposes. Palantir Technology is a US-based data analytics AI company, has strategic partnership with the Israeli Ministry of Defense to supply advanced AI-driven tools to support Israel's military efforts, particularly since the onset of the war with Hamas on October 7, 2023. According to reports, Palantir's products, including its artificial intelligence platform, AIP, and government web services are in high demand in Israel's battlefield intelligence, decision-making, and analyzing targets. The company has been vocal about support for Israel, with CEO Alex Karp stating that Palantir is providing technology to aid the country's war effort, though specific details about the tools remain undisclosed. Ah, man. However, this collaboration has sparked controversy, blah, blah, blah. Of course it has. It's worth noting that Palantir's involvement is confirmed, the exact scope. And there's something about like the degree to which, oh, here we go, lavender, yes, the lavender. Some reports and activists allege Palantir's AI systems contribute to Israel's targeting operations in Gaza, potentially implicating the company in civilian casualties and raising concerns about war crimes. For instance, investigations suggest that Palantir's technology may be linked to Israel's Lavender AI targeting system, though direct evidence naming Palantir in this context is limited. Critics, including human rights organizations, argue that the use of such AI tools risk exacerbating civilian harm due to the reliance on vast surveillance data, which may include unverified or raw intelligence. Let's see what kind of answer this thing gives. How does Israel's military stack up against Iran? Let's see. And then I'll show you what some of the people in DC are saying. You know, the pizza index is going crazy too. I've been hearing a lot of buzz about this pizza index. Let's see. Let's see now. All right, what do we got? All right. Where's my page? Here we go. Here we go. All right. Manpower. Iran has significant numerical advantage due to its large population, approximately 89 million versus Israel's 10 million. Iran fields about 610,000 active military personnel and 350,000 reservists, and 220,000 paramilitary forces, including the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Its available manpower is around 41 million fit-for-service individuals, all right? 41 million fit-for-service individuals in Iran, and about 1.2 million who are actually in the army. Israel has approximately 170,000 active personnel, 465,000 reservists, and 35,000 paramilitary forces, totaling around 645,000 fit-for-service population. Oh, and its fit-for-service population is around 3.1 million. All right, so actual active duty military / reservists in Iran, 1.2 million. Israel, 600,000. Fit for duty individuals in Iran, 41 million. Fit for duty individuals in Israel, 3.1 million. Like what? What do you think? I you better have the most high tech shit possible. Like you better be using AI against dudes in caves. Okay. So the analysis: Iran's numerical superiority in manpower is substantial, but Israel's forces are highly trained, battle hardened from urban and regional conflicts, and benefit from streamlined mobilization. Iran's larger forces include less trained conscripts and paramilitary units, which may dilute overall effectiveness. But yeah, quantity has a quality all of its own. Air power. Iran's Air Force has around 551 aircraft, including 186 fighter jets and 13 attack helicopters. Sanctions have restricted access to modern aircraft leaving Iran with dated fleet. However, Iran excels in drones. And ballistic missiles with over 2,000 missiles capable of reaching Israel. Israel's Air Force is among the world's most advanced, with 612 aircrafts, including 241 fighter jets, F-15s, 39 F-35s, and 48 attack helicopters, and advanced drones like the Haran. Israel's air defense includes the Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow systems. They're highly effective, intercepting 99% of Iran's April 2024 missile and drone attack. Palantir's role. Israel uses Palantir's AI-driven platforms to enhance battlefield intelligence, target analysis, and air defense coordination. This technology improves real-time decision-making, giving Israel a qualitative edge in air operations, particularly in countering Iran's missile and drone threats. So clear advantage for Israel when it comes to the air game. But the ground forces, Iran, the numerical edge with 10,500 battle tanks and 6,700 artillery guns and 65,000 armored vehicles. Some of it's outdated, but Israel, on the other hand, has 1,300 tanks. All right, so 10,000 tanks for Iran, 1,300 tanks for Israel. Not that they would probably even use any of those, because you're not, like, I doubt you're going to transport those things through freaking Iraq to get to Iran. Then they got 530 artillery guns versus Iran's 6,700. And then you got 43,000 armored vehicles versus the 65,000 armored vehicles in Iran. So not as big of a gap there. Navy strength. Iran's Navy includes 101 vessels with 19 submarines, 7 frigates, and 3 corvettes, and 19 patrol vessels. Israel's Navy is smaller with 67 vessels, 5 submarines, 7 corvettes, and 45 patrol boats. Nuclear and strategic capabilities. So Iran does not have nukes, obviously. It's what this whole thing is about. But it has advanced uranium enrichment capabilities, raising concerns about its potential to develop a warhead. Israel is widely believed to possess 80 to 200 nuclear warheads deliverable via Jericho 2 and Jericho 3 missiles, range up to 3,000 miles, and possibly submarines. Its nuclear ambiguity policy enhances deterrence. So the defense budget, Iran's defense budget is about $10.3 billion. Israel's defense budget is about $27.5 billion, bolstered by $3.8 billion in annual U.S. military aid. All right, so strategic and global geopolitical context. Iran's strategy relies on asymmetric warfare through proxies like Hezbollah, Houthis, and Hamas, missile drone strikes. Israel's strategy emphasizes air superiority, preemptive strikes, and robust defense systems. All right, so you get it. You get the overall assessment. But let's, I guess, put things in perspective. You know, everybody's going to hate this. Everybody's been saying, like, off the bat, can't do that. Here, let me show you what Ted Cruz said. This, should we show Ted? No, screw Ted Cruz. Yeah, everybody's been, like, clamoring about this, like how it'd be the worst thing since, like, even before the election. You know, JD Vance, like, comes out and eagerly says, oh yeah, we got to bomb Iran. They started blaming Iran for the assassination attempt against Trump right after it happened. So this is, like, a lot of people's worst fear because it, like, feels like a whole another Iraq thing. But we just can't tolerate that. We just can't tolerate any degree of U.S. involvement. Like we should not even be giving weapons to this, because, you know, you see the studies that say if we ever got into a conflict with China, like the U.S. being, if the U.S. ever got into a conflict with China in the South China Sea, we would last 1 week, supposedly, because of how low our weapon supply is. I mean, disgusting on so many levels. Like, the only thing we freaking manufacture in America is weapons. So even if we are giving a ton of weapons to Ukraine, like, how are we going to, putting ourselves in the position where we're that short on weapons? Like, they tried to say that it was all of our old stuff that we had to clear out anyway, that we're going to throw away anyway. So how are we depleted to that degree? Like, how are these defense contractors backlogged so far to where they're, like, they have orders that are 3 years out, like, on delay? So, yeah, I hope they can make this thing swift, like the beeper situation. You know, they made a serious dent in the leadership and in the nuclear programs, I guess, tonight. Like, they took out their best nuclear minds. It's just another thing that's going to piss Russia off. It's probably going to piss China off a little bit too. But yeah, for the people who try to say that they're on the side of the Muslims instead of the side of Israel, like, there's definitely stuff from both of those communities that, you know, give people good reasons to be pissed at them for very different things, very unique things. But I mean, guys, come on. Like, between Israel and between Iran, like, yeah, obviously Israel's a closer ally to the United States. And, like, I'm not at all some guy who's like, oh yeah, defend Israel no matter what, blah, blah, blah. Like, I got a lot of interesting things I could tell you sometime about why I think that people are so gung ho about that, and I think it's a big old psyop. But we don't need to get into that tonight. I saw Charlie Kirk like, oh my God, all my fans are so angry about what's going on right now. I don't believe it. I'm gonna support Israel no matter what. Like, yeah, we get it, Charlie. We get it. But yeah, don't want to be gung ho about this at all. I don't like Netanyahu. I don't think a lot of his people like him. I think that the best thing that could happen is if new leadership takes over in Israel and in Ukraine. But yeah, I guess we just have to hope for swift action by Israel and putting the population of Iran in a position where they could overthrow their leadership. Because we're not putting up with this long, drawn out, expensive war bullshit. Like the world's over that. So that's where I'm at. If you guys want to join our research community, like I said before, the link is in the chat. It's in the description. Yeah, we have a pretty dope thing going on there. So, like I said, I'm head of research. I kind of craft and shape a lot of the content that goes through the VT network, and I think the more smart people that are a part of that, the better. I can't keep up with every story that's going out throughout the day. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that I almost never see because it's under the radar. A lot of stuff's kind of crammed down your throat. Oh, listen to this narrative. This is what everybody's talking about today. I want to set narratives at VT. I don't want to follow narratives, right? So if you guys want to be part of this megaphone type of situation where you could, guys, we had 400 million views on YouTube last month. Fox News had I think 370 something million. So if you want to be a part of having a role in the things we talk about and making sure things that are important don't go under the radar, I would highly encourage you to become part of this community. Because for a small price, you could shape what the people in the country are seeing and thinking and reacting to. So it's the honor of my lifetime to be part of this. And I think the more smart people that are part of it, the better. That said, I miss you guys. I know I haven't done a live stream in a long time, and I apologize for that, but I want to do one per week, one really strong one per week about everything that's going on during the week. I'm doing those deep dive episodes about stuff from the past that is far too underlooked into, what happened with Clinton and the CIA, how that psycho just dismantled our country. Because it's if we don't fully understand how we got screwed in the past, how are we supposed to understand how we're getting screwed right now and predict how we're going to get screwed in the future? So that's how I'm looking at it. And but I'm gonna obtain some balance, especially after this. This was this hit right. I don't know if you guys enjoyed it, but hit if you did enjoy it. If you felt this was worth your time watching. But yeah, no, I want to get back after this at least once per week. And yeah, we got some cool stuff going on coming up. I got some cool interviews coming up, and yeah, we the future looks bright, even though Israel's future is bright with explosives. We're still optimists here. Still think that things are going to go well. So, guys, I missed you. Glad we did this. Let's all say a prayer and hope that things go the best way they possibly can. Much love. I will see you later.